Hello there and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing some picket fence projects. The first ones I'm doing are going to be made from 1 gallon picket fence stakes, stirrer sticks, and I'm cutting them with a razor blade or scissors or whatever you need to cut yours with. I find that a heavy-duty scissor cuts these really well. It doesn't cut the 5 gallon as much, but it does cut the 1 gallon stir sticks just fine. So I'm cutting the ends of them because I want them pointed like a real picket fence. It doesn't have to be pretty, fancy, or perfect because it's going to be rustic. And that is what we're doing. We're doing a rustic picket fence. And who doesn't love a beautiful rustic picket fence? So I'm spacing out my pickets as far as I want them. I'm using 5 pickets and 2 pieces of wood for the top and bottom, and then I'll use 1 cross piece in the middle. So I just want to make sure that I have them spaced and the length that they are supposed to be, and I'm using my super heavy duty scissors to cut them in place and put them in place. So now I'm making sure that they're all even as far as the length goes and not all out of place. So just want to make sure that I get them all even and straight. And then I take each of the end pieces of picket and put those as far out as they need to go to the edge of the cross picket. And I'm checking with the top to make sure that the top is also the same length as the bottom and the same width apart. So I'm just going to pick it up and glue it with my glue gun. This is Ivycreates by Deanna Carroll. Thank you very much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. If you can, click that notification bell and the subscribe button so that we will see you every week when we put out our newest videos. It would be lovely also if you were to share among your friends or sprinkle or whatever you want to call it. So now you can see that I put the back on there. I'm trying to figure out where I want it, and I'm going to put it around the back side just so I can mark it, and then take it out and use the ruler again just to make sure that my cut will be straight. And then I'll glue it down to my fence. I really wanted this to look like a gate for a picket fence, so I was doing my best to make it look a little bit realistic, even though it is much smaller. So now that I've got it all glued down and everything's in place that I want to use, I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of paint on it, which is Snowfall from Chalk Country Finishes. And I had to make sure I shook it up real good because it separates when it sits for a little bit, so you got to shake it good. And this is a chalk paint that I'm using, Chalk Country Finishes. And I'm going to put just a thin coat of this Snowfall paint color on here so that it looks really pretty and kind of rustic and everything. But I don't need it bright white or anything like that. I just want to put a light coat of white on it. Make sure it's good and dry. So the next thing I want to do is create some kind of a door handle, or because this is a gate that I'm pretending it is, and I want something to open it with if I should have to. So I'm taking a small piece of string, jute twine, and I'm just going to put a knot in either end of it, and then I will glue it down as a handle. And once I cut off all the excess. Now you can see the little handle that I put on there as if you were pulling the gate open. So I'm going to turn it over and put a hanger on the back of it so I can hang it on a wall. Or a door, or wherever you want to hang it. This is super lightweight, so it's not going to be heavy to pull on or anything. So it'll be really easy to hang, and you don't have to worry about, you can just glue on the back. So now I have a couple of lavender pieces that came from a lavender bush at Dollar Tree. Now the paint sticks I did order from Amazon. I believe I linked it below. And these are the lavender. This is from the Dollar Tree, and there's a link below as well. So when you're putting them together, I'm trying to put them together just like a bouquet, and I'm just holding it in my hand, and I want to put the largest, the tallest things towards the back if I can, and the smaller things toward the front. And then I'm going to wrap my jute twine around and just tie it in a knot. I'm not even doing a bow on this one. And yes, I had to use my teeth because I had no more hands. I hope you're enjoying this video as much as I enjoy doing it. I do try to get at least one video out a week. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell. And let me know how you like this. If you leave me a comment, I will respond. So I'm tying multiple jute twine pieces around the base of my little bouquet, so that I can tie it to my fence. Now that's a good thing because I can easily cut it off my fence. Say like in fall I wanted to do sunflowers, I could do a little hand bouquet of sunflowers and put them on my fence. I could do Christmas wreaths and summer wreaths and you know, red, white, and blue flags, anything you want to do on your fence. And my favorite thing is double duty decor or double duty DIY, things like that. That way I know that I'm going to get more than one use out of it, and that is a goal for me because I hate to spend money on craft stuff, but I buy a bunch of it. So now I'm just going to put this down here, look like it was fresh picked off the farm. And I'm going to tie it to my fence. And I apologize, I did have to move the camera a little bit so you could see better. Camera is kind of it doesn't show a whole lot, and I don't have a big workspace, so I do have to move it from time to time. So you can see I'm just tying it in a knot on the back of my fence. That's all there is to it. And that is how our finished product is going to look. Beautiful bunch of lavender on a country fence. And you can pull it and bend it however you want it to be bent. I was just positioning mine, and that's what it came out like. So the next one I'm going to be doing is going to be a much larger. It's the 5-gallon paint stir sticks. And I gotten a couple of these. I had 2 packs that come 3 to a pack, and they're like 98 cents. And I'm using 4 right now, 4 of the regular paint sticks, the regular 1-gallon paint sticks. And I'll be using a few more of those. But I'm mainly gluing the 2 outside pieces because I want those situated before I put the rest of them in. And this is an attempt to make it all level and straight and all that good stuff. So I wanted to glue the outside pieces first, and then I'll turn it over, like you can see now, and put the other pieces down so I can space them out evenly. Now, if you really want to get technical about this, you could probably put a Jenga block or something in between each one so you got perfectly even spaces. I am not that person. I'm just making a rustic old fence that probably somebody never even used a level on, and I'm going to paint it up and make it look old and pretty. Everybody loves picket fences. I love picket fences. Down here we have a lot of big houses and even some little houses with beautiful picket fences. There's one in particular that I love, and I'll see if I can try to find a picture. I don't know. But it is a big, beautiful pink and white mansion on the beach, and it has a beautiful white picket fence all the way across the front of it with big magnolia trees in the yard, and it's got these wonderful little climbing pink roses that bloom in the spring, and it's just absolutely beautiful. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave us some comments, you know, all the good stuff. Share it with your friends. So I was trying to decide how I could do this because I didn't have another long paint stick. So I ended up taking these 2 1-gallon paint sticks and gluing them together. And yes, one is going to be higher than the other, but by the time you finish it up, you can't even really tell. And I used glue to glue the bottom, glue it down to the fence really good, and it stayed perfectly fine. So I just cut the edges, you know, drew the edges to cut on either end. And then I put them down to glue. And I was holding it down pretty well because of one height being slightly bigger, you know, higher than the other. So on this one, I want to take the Chalk Country finishes, and I'm using the Country Flannel color, which is like a blue-gray, and I wanted this to undercoat my fence so it looked extra old, and so y'all could easily see it as well. It's just easier to look at if it's not white on my camera. So I'm making sure that I get a really good coat of this Country Flannel Chalk Country finishes, and I'm getting a really good coat of it down on my fence. And this Chalk Country Finishes paint is a relatively new paint on the market, and it's very, very gritty, which I have learned to really like. I use Dixie Belle a lot, which is very smooth and very creamy, and this one is a little bit thinner but a lot grittier. And what I like about it is once I paint it down on something, it leaves a texture, and it's like a sandy texture, and so it's perfect for chalk painting things because you can lightly sand it with a sand block and get a great old look very, very quickly out of it. And the other thing is it gives wood texture, and these paint sticks really don't have a lot of texture. So if I put that blue paint down, or the gray, it's called Country Flannel, if I put that down first, then when I paint over it with the white Dixie Belle, the cotton, it gives it a lot more texture and makes it look older and like it's really wood, you know, well, it is real wood, but makes it look real old. So I am using a big wide paintbrush with my Dixie Belle chalk paint, which is cotton, and I am barely touching the surface of my fence as I paint over, just enough to give it some texture and drop a little bit of paint on it. It does not have to be heavy or thick. I'm wanting to make it look old. And you can see how the paint underneath just gives it that little bit extra. And I'm trying to use as much of a dry brush as I can, not adding paint constantly to get it real soaked on there. I just want a little bit of paint. I hope you're enjoying this video, and if you are, please leave me a comment and tell me your thoughts. Also, I'd love to know if you try this and how it comes out. Please let me know. I'll be glad to answer any questions. I also have a website, Ivycreates.com. You can always find me there, or on Facebook at Deanna Carroll. It's at Deanna AC. I do have a couple of other pages as well. Okay, so you can see I got the white painted on there, and I'm not going to fuss with it too much. I just kind of want it a little bit over it, and then I'm going to dry it really good. Now after it's dried, I take my sanding block on the lightest side, you know, the one that's the softest, and just kind of go over a little bit more just to get the edges and everything and extra paint up, and to give it that little extra bit of look. Now I'm cleaning it off with my paint brushes just to get all the extra dust off. And now I'm going to start creating a little wreath using these garland wraps is what they were called, and they are really awesome. And I thought the wreath was too small, so I added another one to make it a little bit bigger, and I just twisted them together to give it more body. So I'm trying to decide where I want exactly the wreath and what ribbons I want to use. So that is a cream colored lace ribbon, and I ended up finding a really pretty blue sheer ribbon to work with it. Now this is a mailbox that I made from cardboard. I just folded it and cut it and put it together, and then I painted it with my Chalk Country Finishes Country Road. So I'm painting mail on it with my white Dixie Belle paint, my cotton. And so this comes out just perfect, because you'll see at the end why I think that the Chalk Country Finishes makes things look old really fast when I sand over the top of this, and it's instantly aged. So I made it's got like a little fold down like a old country mailbox would have, and you can lift it up and put the mail in it. Unfortunately, it is my handwriting because I couldn't find stencils. I don't know where they are, but that's the way it is. So now for my wreath, I'm going to start on adding some different things to it. Here's my pretty dark blue sheer. It's kind of a bluish purple. I'm not exactly sure what color it is. And those are my lavender sprigs from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to make a ribbon, a bow out of these two ribbons, and they're layered on top of each other. Neither one are wired, so I'm not going to go too extensive in the bow because they're not wired and they wouldn't really hold up well. So two ribbons each side, so that's it. And then I'm tying it with the sheer blue ribbon so that I can tie it onto my wreath. Now make sure you tie it super tight so you can yank it around to make it look pretty, and get it where you want it positioned. And Now I will tell you this, most of your bows do not have to look perfect. They do not have to be absolutely perfect, because you're going to add flowers and different little elements into your wreath. Unless it's just the bow, then don't worry too much about it, because once you add the little flowers and the elements in the wreath, then you don't even notice anything about the bow. It's mostly about the flowers. So now I'm going to add some of my flowers to it and add it to my little fence, and add the mailbox as well. And I was trying to decide where I should place it, so I glued it on, get it glued on to placement. Now this is a sprig of purple clover that I found, I think, at Michael's. And it has blooming flowers on it too that are purple, and I just love it. I thought that was really cool, and that's something that we have that grows a lot around here. So I'm just tucking it in, gluing it and tucking it in where I need to tuck it in, around my bow, and then around the wreath. I hope you enjoyed today's craft. Thank you for watching so much. Like I said, this is one of those double duty decor type situations where you don't have to put what I put on there. You can put whatever you want to on it. And you can change it out seasonally if you want. So I'm just gluing some more clovers around my little wreath. And I know a lot of you probably go, oh, well, that's a garland wreath and that's for Christmas. Well, once you get it covered with everything else, you don't even notice what kind of wreath it is. So you can see I'm just slightly sanding the mailbox, and you can see how quickly that paint changes and sands down. Just a little bit and it's already changed. So the next thing I need to do with this is to go on the back and add a hanger. Now, I toyed around, and you'll see in just a minute, with putting some of the little boxes from the Dollar Tree, the wooden boxes down at the bottom. And if you do that, you can make it stand on its own, and you can put flowers in those little boxes as well to make it stand up and all that. But I just didn't end up doing that. I kept it as it was. See, these are the little boxes I was talking about. You can add those if you want. And this is our final product picture. It's pretty substantial looking, and it's really, really pretty. I was very happy with it. Thank you for watching. Hi, did you click that subscribe button and the notification bell? Well, if you don't hit that notification bell, you will miss out on our Thursday videos. So please go ahead, click it, and you'll be able to watch our videos that are coming up.